Hey there, folks. I'm Matt Hansen.
And I'm John Johnson.
And you're listening to
Planes, Trains, and Comic Books,
the podcast where we discuss favorites we've reread, comics we want to read, and everything in between.
And here's the comic we picked this week.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of
Planes, Trains, and Comic Books.
Today we're doing, in honor of our continuation, in honor of Black History Month, we're reading Icon, which is a Milestone book by Dwayne McDuffie and M.D. Dwight. Is that correct?
M.D. Bright?
Bright.
Yeah, M.D. Bright.
Correct. That's it. I was like, I know it's got "ite" at the end. One of those "ites." "Ite"?
Ite?
Yeah. So this is, I don't know. This is basically their Superman for this universe.
Yeah.
The Dakota-verse is like what it's also called because it takes place in a fictional city of Dakota.
Yeah.
And so this one, now this wasn't the first one to release because I believe in Static, I think it is where they actually have like how the mutants in this world formed.
Okay.
With the Big Bang.
The Big Bang.
They reference the Big Bang in all their other books. So
yeah,
this one just references that.
Yeah, because I feel like I remember reading Blood Syndicate before, and
we never read Blood Syndicate. No, but
I feel like I've heard.
They reference
okay.
What is it? Brother Wise or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Was in Static. The one we read last year.
Oh, okay.
The cool birth
Return,
of cool.
yeah,
Return,
Rebirth of Cool.
Rebirth of Cool.
Yeah.
Miles Davis, Birth of Cool. Check it out, everybody. Yeah. So yeah,
we're gonna turn this into a music podcast.
Yes. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. So anyway, we're doing this one, and it references some of their other ones. It doesn't specifically talk about how people got powers, but it does talk about like the after effects of that. So we'll kind of explain like how this universe kind of got started, to give a little backstory for what happens in this book as we go through it. Yeah. So what did you think about like the origin of this character? He's got a very interesting origin, I thought.
It was really cool. You know, it obviously, as we get into it, you know, it's very obviously reminiscent of Superman. That's kind of the basis of it. And that's why it's their Superman character. And, you know, it's an alien coming to Earth.
Yeah.
But then the time period.
It's kind of Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
A little
yeah,
bit.
exactly. Because she transforms. And it's, I mean, the time period that he comes and then all the things that he has to go through his life is like
crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. Like, Superman just comes, lands out
like,
the farmers, like, hey,
you.
come and live with the farm. Like, hey, life's, and that's life. You know, he grows up. And it is not that easy.
No, it's not like that for Icon.
No.
So let's get into it. This book one starts exactly where like the origin would be. So it starts off in 1839, the year, and they're in space. Some space ship is going down, and an alien who looks kind of like, I don't know, what would you say he looks like? He looks like a mix between Martian Manhunter, who when he's not in a shape or whatever, when he's in like his Mars form, and I don't know,
It made me think of the Ninja Turtles without a shell.
Yes, there you go, perfect, very much so. Ninja Turtles without a shell, I like it. So this alien, it gets on an escape pod, heads out of this ship that it's exploding, and he bursts out of there, and it just so happens that he goes to the nearest planet that's inhabitable, and it's Earth. And like we said, it's 1839. I'm sorry, 1839. And so he, hits the ground, and where is he at? We see like a black woman finds him, and they make sure that you see that, you know, there's like cotton fields and whatnot. So we're like, okay, this is the South. She's a black woman. She goes to the ship and she touches it. And that, I guess, like the ship takes the DNA from whoever it comes into contact with first, and it makes whatever's inside that, like, so it fits into the environment.
Yeah.
So the alien inside turns into a black baby child, black baby boy child specifically, and the show is junk, just, you know, just so you know.
So you know.
And you know, this black slave woman takes him to be her child, and she's like, that's a weird ship. I don't know what she does with the ship. It's not like like in Smallville or whatever. Like the dad hides the ship on the farm.
In the farm.
Where the fuck does she have that ship? It's on the master's land or whatever.
Yeah, I will say I agree with that because
he still has it. Which is like, how the fuck did he get it?
That's what I was gonna say is like because we see that he still has it later in modern times that he's living in.
Yeah.
So where was it? Where did she put it? Where was it hiding? How did they keep it how did he keep it in such a great condition all these years?
I don't know, but he did. But basically, so our hero icon, his name is Augustus Freeman the Fourth now. I assume at the beginning it was Augustus Freeman
the first, yeah.
But basically, over the years, he's had to just like die in quotation marks and then come back as his son because he doesn't age like humans. So he's like basically like a 40-year-old man, a 35-year-old man, something like that.
Yeah.
If he's 35, I feel very what you call it, like I have not got far in my life because I'm accomplished.
No, he's like 40 something.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, definitely. He's like 55.
Definitely. He's like late 40s.
He's far many years from us for sure. Because I'm 35 this year. So yeah, but he's a lawyer now. So he's a lawyer now. When I say now, this was written in like 1996ish or 7. So maybe a little early, I don't know, in the mid 90s we'll say. And so he is now a lawyer who is a Republican, which we find out right on the first page because he's a lawyer, he's got a partner him and his law firm, and he's talking to his white partner in this law firm, and the guy's like, whoa, like not everybody thinks like you, Rush Limbaugh or whatever, and not everybody's got the same politics as you Republican, you.
Yeah, well, because he asked him, because he was like deep in thought, and he was like, were you thinking about a woman? And he was like, well, yeah. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, but it wasn't like a sexual thing, because he was thinking about it. It was obvious like he was thinking about that when
his
the
mom.
ship crashed.
His mom.
His mom, technically the woman who found him
and raised him, I assume.
Yeah. And because the background we get is just the things he went through. We don't get like the actual raising. It's not like
like literally it fades into him remembering just him getting picked up by the lady. So I'm assuming that she raised him. Maybe that's not what happened, and he got sold to other families or whatever, or other farms. Yeah. We don't know, but maybe I don't know if they go into it in the second volume. I'm not sure.
We just read the first volume on this.
Yeah, which was the first 8 issues. It doesn't. I know that this doesn't go that far because Milestone only lasted like 3 to 4 years, I think, or something like that.
Until we brought it back.
Until we brought it back with our own podcast last year, where we were talking about how we had to read these bootlegged. So I'm glad DC heard us, and
thank you DC for listening. Yeah, appreciate you,
and thank you everybody for like agreeing to bring it back and everything. We know we were glad we could have a hand in it.
Exactly.
So, anyway, so. Then we get introduced to the sidekick character, or the girl who ends up being the sidekick, and her name is Raquel, and she is with a bunch of boys that she's trying to like fit in with. One of them is her boyfriend. The other people in this car are like friends of his that she's trying to like be cool with, and basically they're talking about like, okay, tonight all the gangs and all the police are going to be at like this area on the bridge for this protest that's going to happen. So like it's a prime time to like go to the rich neighborhoods and break in and steal shit and get what we want and then come out and like fuck those rich people or whatever.
Yeah, they got enough, and what are the police are going to be too busy. So.
Yeah, so like they're setting up to rob tonight, and the girl Raquel, she's like kind of hesitant. She doesn't really want to, but they're like, but didn't you want to be a writer? I'm sure these guys have like a typewriter or something that you could have.
Yeah.
And I'm like, typewriter? What the fuck? But like, maybe they have like an antique typewriter or whatever.
Well, I did. Yeah.
I guess it would be a word processor right now. That's what it would be at this time.
It would be a word processor.
Yeah. So that's all you could do on it.
I did like that they showed that like that she's trying to fit in, but she was hesitant because it started off that like she's like always wanted to be a writer, but she didn't quite have like the means to.
That's what she thought at least. Yeah. So like, or she didn't have like the confidence to like, believe in herself enough to go like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna be a writer no matter what or whatever. Like I'm really gonna push it. She's like, oh, I need fancy shit to be a writer.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're like a kid and you're like, I want to be, a guitar player. I need Jimmy Page's guitar or whatever. And it's like, well, if you learn how to play on this $10 guitar,
yeah,
then
you can get up to there.
Yeah, exactly. So, which is true. By the way, if you think you need an expensive instrument or whatever, or expensive thing to start something, you don't.
No.
Start with the cheap thing, learn how to do that real well, and then when you get the fancy thing, it'll be like a piece of cake. That's like really how you learn. So, just words of wisdom. But yeah. So anyway, it cuts to that night, and they get to a house, and they're like, fuck yeah, man! I didn't even know people lived in houses this big, except on TV and stuff. And they get over the gate, and they get into the house, and like, holy shit, like this is crazy. They don't swear in this comic. I should say I'm swearing for them.
Well, no, they swear, but when they swear,
they say MF and stuff. Like
yeah, you get like a usually beginning letter
asterisks.
and letter, and then the asterisk and whatnot.
But I mean, like they don't. It's not like rated R comics. Or whatever,
no.
So, but yeah, so they get in this house and they're like, oh my god, like this is crazy. And they're looking around and they're seeing like Raquel obviously walks into like his library and she's like, oh my god, like this is exactly what I wish I had. Like this like awesome place of learning and like knowledge, and she just wants to learn and have something like this. And so she's like looking around, she sees the computer and she's like, oh, like this is basically what I'm looking for. Like I didn't think I was gonna go for the computer. And then all of a sudden some guy walks down the stairs and yells Christina, and we see that it's Augustus from earlier. So this is his house. He's a rich lawyer who's got this big house, and they think they're ripping off some like white guys they don't give a fuck about. So this black lawyer walks out and he's like, what are you doing? Unhand my TV, young man. Why don't you have a job and such or whatever? And like, he's giving, this is a little cringy because he's giving those like Rush Limbaugh talking points of like, you ruffian should be out working, delivering pizzas if you want to buy a television.
Pull yourself up from your bootstraps.
Yeah. Why are you being like this? You young thug or whatever. And like, so it's this little first issue was kind of, this part especially was a little cringy.
And it was because they were also like, man, hey, what are you doing here? They thought he was the help at first.
Yeah. They're like, hey, like help us steal this shit from your not owner, but your I guess employer, yeah. And he's like, this is my fucking house.
Yeah, I worked for all of this stuff.
Yeah, and he's like, you've been mistaken, young man. And he's got like super, like proper English or whatever. And this is the messed up thing. This is one of the messed up things that like right away I was like, really? Is like, okay, so Raquel's boyfriend is the one. He pulls out a gun when all this talking starts. Like, so right away you're like, what the fuck? This escalated quick from, hey, we're stealing stuff to, I have a gun, keep away, right?
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, we'll take whatever we want, you bougie motherfucker. And then like, he's like, now I'll not have that sort of language in my, and then her boyfriend fucking shoots him.
Yeah.
And like, when he doesn't die, they're like, oh my God, what? And then like, he's like, how dare you, shoot me? I was surprised the first time, but, and he's like, give me that before you hurt yourself. And then he shoots him 4 more times when he doesn't die the first time before Icon or Augustus gets the gun and breaks it. And I was like, they seem really nonchalant that like, especially later on in this issue and in the comic of this book, she's like, I got to go talk to him. We're still friends and shit, or we're still like together or whatever.
Yeah, but he was very ready to kill.
Yeah, easily. I was like, this dude was about to like, I'm gonna murder someone, and I'm pretty nonchalant about that.
Yeah,
I was surprised that, these are just supposed to be kids. They don't show them as like bad kids, other than maybe this is the first time they've really robbed people or whatever.
Yeah, and we don't learn till a little later, but we'll give it now is that Raquel is only 15.
Yeah, so
they're
like high school kids or whatever.
Exactly, like nobody in this group probably is older.
And
than
no
20.
one looks like a hardened criminal in this group or whatever. Like they don't look like they're gang members or whatever. They don't ever say they're in a gang.
They got hip looking clothes on. They got cool haircuts.
Yeah. They all got flat tops. They all look like they're from, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or whatever. It's how it works. But like, yeah. So Yeah, like I was just surprised at how fast he was willing to like kill someone over TV or whatever. And then, or just like the guy coming towards him or saying like, don't speak. He didn't even come at him. He was just like, you shouldn't talk to me like that in my house.
He's like, we'll do what we want,
I'll
man.
say what I want, motherfucker. Shoot.
Bam, 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 bam.
It's like, Jesus Christ. So like, yeah, this guy was pretty quick to pull the trigger there. And it didn't seem like an accident either. It wasn't like he was like, oh my God, it went off on accident. It was like, no, I meant to like shoot you in the chest and kill you, but you just happened to be a superhero person, so you didn't die, or super powered person. And so they all run away, and Icon chases after them. And this was funny. He's got like a house coat, but it looks very much like his cape as it flies around. It's like a green colored house coat that like expands like Spawn.
I was gonna say it made me think of Spawn right away,
very
but
much.
green.
Yeah, green. A green Spawn cape that just like flies all over the place. I'm like, how much fucking fabric is on that? You know, it looks like a, I don't know, like a California King bed sheet or some shit. So yeah, and then he flies, you know, and because he can, you know, transform his energy to fly or whatever, and he picks up Raquel, and he's like, you know, I'm not just letting you go get away with that or whatever. And basically he just gives them like a talking to, and it's like, don't do that again. And if you do, and I'm like, if it wasn't you, there would be a dead person in a house over a TV or whatever. And like,
and so like he tells them that, and then he's also like, okay, I'm gonna let you go. If you stole anything else, return it. And also don't tell anybody about me flying and what you saw tonight.
Now, we're going to talk about what I did, and you're never going to say anything about that, right? Like, seeing a person fly, much less a rich black man that you just shot in the chest, fly and pick you up and all that, and they're like, fuck you or whatever. Like, they don't give a fuck. They just run away, and they're kind of like scared, but they don't seem very like if someone started flying and I shot them in the chest and it did nothing, I'd be like, what the fuck are you? Like, I would freak out.
Even today, being like around 1,000,001 superhero movies.
You know how many comics I read? Yeah. If I saw someone do something like that, I'd be like, you're a god. Like, you know, like, how can I worship you? You know, or whatever. Like that is the craziest thing you could see. And they don't at all seem fazed by it. They're like, that was weird, wasn't it? When I shot that guy like 5 times and he didn't die? Huh. And he flew. That was weird.
Anyway, you guys want to go get donuts?
Yeah. Donuts. Whatever they do.
Whatever kids were eating.
These scamps, whatever. So, what are those called? Dunkaroos? That's what they're eating. Dunkaroos. And those like kid cuisine meals. That's what they...
Yeah. Kid cuisines, Dunkaroos.
Yeah.
Or were the cheese ones with the sticks?
I don't fucking know. I don't know what those are called. Anyway, yes. Or the peanut butter. The best ones were the peanut butter ones with the crackers, not the cheese.
That's true.
Yeah. So anyway, Raquel's back at her house, and she's like thinking about all this, and she's like, you know what? I think I'm gonna figure out like who that black guy was, because how many like rich black guys could there be that live at this address? I don't know how she did it, but she figured out the address of like where he worked and everything, and what his name was. And so she goes to visit him after school at his law firm, and she's like, I know who you were. You know, I figured out your secret identity, and I think you should help out the community. Like, you should use your powers for good, but specifically, like, to help out the poor and downtrodden people, specifically of African American heritage, your people in this neighborhood, you know, or this area.
Yeah.
You should do what you can to help them out. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I have to say, that's one of the interesting things I found out, I felt about this story is, so Superman, like, he lives, you know, a decent amount of time, but like enough time to grow up as a kid and like become an adult.
Right.
And then, but he does like still have his like moments where he uses his power and to help people throughout all that. And then he becomes Superman, right?
Right.
Like, eventually. But then you think about like, this is that same kind of story, but extrapolated because we don't know everything. Maybe I'm sure he's probably saved some people and done little things here and there,
right?
But he's not outwardly like a superhero.
I mean, technically, he could have killed every slave master and set his people free, or set all of Africa. This is the weird thing, right?
That's what we were talking about.
This is a conversation to be had. So he's not a black person. He's an alien who has taken
the form
identity of a black person,
Yeah.
or not taken, but become, or I don't know, become the identity of a black person. And so he just kind of by chance inherited
everything that would come with it,
whatever that means. Yeah. So like all the baggage and historical badness in America and wherever, from Africa and everything too, the rest of the world. He's inherited that, but he is not black really, which is weird. It's kind of like a weird character. And also Raquel points this out later on, not in this series, but I know I've heard there was conversations in the future series, like the next trade probably. Because I think there's only like 20 issues of this book, this original series.
Yeah.
But in that stuff, I think she brings up like, you're not a real black person. You're a person, you're an alien pretending to be black. So you're like a fake black person. But it's weird because he's lived through slavery.
Yeah, but he's actually had the lived life of a black person.
So like, it's a weird thing. It's a weird character, which I like. It kind of gives you a lot of cool stories you could tell, or why didn't maybe if this ran long enough, we'd find out why he didn't free everybody or what happened. It does say in that little flashback he had that he fought in the Union. Oh no, not in that flashback, but in a future flashback in this series, or in this trade paperback, she actually finds out from him. I guess he tells her that he fought in the Union, in the Civil War and stuff. So like he fought with these guys. He's an indestructible soldier. So technically, I'm sure he's why they won every battle or whatever. If he can run across the battlefield and murder the general or whatever, so. There's that, and then he was in World War II, and then so like he was in all these historical points in history, working maybe in the immediate, like he was saving people in the immediate area around him.
Yeah, he wasn't like Dr. Manhattan in the comics where he was like.
But also, in this, he's not as powerful as someone like Dr. Manhattan or even Superman, which I was interested in because they kind of make him seem like he is. Like they're like, oh, you're like a black Superman, basically, because they're like, he can take a bullet, he can do all this stuff. But then, like, at times he gets like bludgeoned by like, we'll get into it a little bit, but like a rifle butt hits him in the nose, and he bleeds. And I'm like, that would never like and he actually shows like pain in his face when he gets hit, like and like if someone did that to Superman, I guarantee in that panel, the butt would be hitting his face, like the gun butt, and the gun butt would be shattering, and he would just be stone faced.
Yeah,
like you think he is like if they hit a rock.
Exactly.
So like it's weird that he seems to get hurt by things that shouldn't hurt him if he is as powerful as Superman or something like that. But
yeah, there's an oddity to it because like so a bullet traveling however fast,
right?
Like
hits him in the chest,
hits him in the path and bounces off like Superman,
right?
Then later when he there's a character he's fighting and he gets like slashed across the chest a little.
Right. Now that's a mutant. So I think that might be what it is. But besides that, there's regular police that he gets confronted by who are attacking them with their regular rifles, and they seem to be
the bullet bullet bounces off, but the rifle butt is able to
like hurts him.
Yeah.
That gives him a bloody nose. So I'm like, that's weird. I don't understand. I don't know if they had fully. I think they were thinking like, oh, this was like dramatic. This adds drama, right? If he gets hurt or whatever. But it's like, but it doesn't work if he's supposed to be Superman. You're supposed to read it and go like, holy shit, like it hit him and he just stood there and was like, are you done yet? Kind of thing. And he was like that, but it was after like they hit him and it seemed to actually hurt him kind of thing. But anyway, that's a little bit in the future. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Back to the story here. She comes into his office. Raquel's like, I found out who you are, and I think you're going to help me help our community, basically. And this is how you're going to do it. And she shows that all night she's been working on designs for their costumes. And I say there because she wants to be his sidekick. And she's like, your name is going to be Icon, and I'm going to be Rocket. Or the Rocket. She says the Rocket on paper, but I mean, Raquel Rocket sounds better than Raquel the Rocket. Or just the Rocket, whatever. So, so basically he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, and this is where he gets like some of the like you should pull yourself by your up by your bootstraps and stuff. And this like early issue, this first issue has a lot of like cliched, I'm a Republican and this is what I would say if I was Republican. But later on, I do think they get a little more nuanced. We were talking about that a little bit. Like he's not always so like, I'm talking points from Fox News or whatever, you know. So which makes him a better character, I feel. Like instead of just being like, I'm a Republican and I'm black. That's crazy. Like like it's they give him a little more heart and everything than like more like a real person would be.
Yeah.
You know, if it's like, you know, you could be a Republican who's like, I'm against gay marriage or whatever, and then you find out your son or someone you love or your best friend or something's gay, and you're like, oh, like I've just never met a gay person, and I never thought about it really. I just was like, oh yeah, marriage, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
and then now,
like, oh okay, well that makes sense.
I have to rethink this position, and because I love my friend or I love my family member or whatever, and now it doesn't happen to everybody, and that sucks. But like, I mean, I know people who have like had to confront this head on as a, you know, right wing person or whatever, and they're like, you know what, I value you as a person more than, you know, what I think about politics, and I've changed my position on this and whatever. So like,
the way things technically should be, right? Like you experience it life and you reevaluate your opinion. Like, do I really think that?
Yes.
Like, let me have a conversation with you. Oh, okay. Let me have an internal conversation with myself. That's weird.
It's called introspection. Everybody should do it. That's what they should teach in school. Anyway, so basically he's like, you know what? If you're gonna like, she's like, basically, I'm gonna out you if you don't do it, kind of thing. So like, he says no at first, but then they kind of just like really quickly wrap up in the next page, like, oh, he showed up at my house one night, or not one night, but
it was like 2 days later
in the evening, not at night because she's like a 15-year-old girl and that's weird. But he showed up at my window flying, and he's like, here, I got you this costume or whatever. I think you're right. We'll meet at this bridge or whatever in 2 weeks. So.
Specifically, here's his costume, whatever it's made out of, like some weird fiber she'd never seen. But she also got this specific belt that is going to, like, she has to learn how to use because it's going to enhance and give her powers.
Yeah, and I kind of wish I know they just had to, like, move it along. I kind of wish you saw her do the, like, you know, like in Spider-Man where he's, like, running and he, like, fucks up or whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, I want to see her kind of learn it. Maybe in a future issue they could have done, like the next issue, they could have been, like, her still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And, like...
That's true, because, like, pretty much right away, like, there's like
she's got it.
There's one or two things that she's like, oh, that's cool, I can do that. But then like, yeah, like she's good with her powers right now.
So I wish there was a little bit more learning curve, but I get it. You're trying to move the story along. You can't fault them for that. So you know, it's just one of those little things that are like, wow, they just kind of pushed that forward. So like that's like 5 pages they just crammed into like 1 page. So anyway, they're like, okay, let's meet on this bridge. So he goes to meet on the bridge, and now, you know, he's taking his time. He's walking through the city, which he's never really done before, apparently, which I kind of find weird. But apparently he's only, like, walked around or taken cabs in, like, rich areas or whatever. But now he's walking around in, like, the projects areas. And he's like, you know what? I think, you know, I think I could do some good for these people. And I think I could give them hope. And, you know, he says, like, I have lived a lie, which is maybe a little over you know, hyperbolic or whatever, but like, you know, he's just trying to get the point across where like he's like, I need to help these people, I need to give them hope, I need to become icon.
Yeah. The point is, maybe he has been then that's what I was saying is like he's been so entrenched, I guess, in his life and like not necessarily the life of these humans that he's living among, to become the superhero that like Superman becomes much early on. Like he goes decades and decades.
Yeah, without anything. Well, and you know what's interesting is like, yeah, like he has a wife that we learned about later, and like, or he had a wife and she's passed because of course he lives forever and they don't. So but apparently he had a wife, probably his only one, I guess. And you know, they lived in like Paris and they were great. So you can see like, and before he was just a Martian, and it turns out later on we kind of find out the ship he was on was just like a cruise liner. It wasn't like a battleship or like a soldier's ship or some shit. So like he was just like, imagine like you go on a cruise, John, and it, you know, it goes down in the sea and you take a boat and you land on an island of I don't know, people who've never seen, anybody like you before.
Yeah.
And, or you just fit in and you like fit in. You're like, cool, I'm one of you guys. You're just trying to live like them. You're not like, hey, I know about technology and shit or whatever, except maybe way later on or whatever, like when they're comfortable with you, or if you might just be like, hey, I'm cool living in this world. That's maybe probably how he was, if you think about it, because why would he and also they're not his people to him. He's just a Martian who looks like those people. So like, it's a kind of, I get it. They could have maybe done a little bit of a better job, kind of, if you had shown that aspect of it, like in this first issue, like, you know what? I've never, like in those thought bubbles, he could have been like, I've always just kind of stayed to myself because I'm not an Earthling, and I was just kind of trying to fit in as an Earthling, so they leave me alone until I can figure out how to get off here or whatever, or not, just trying to live my life. But now, since I took this identity, now I see like the people of this same identity need help more, and I could help them out with what I have. So like he could have had that realization, and it wouldn't have seemed a little bit hyperbolic or weirdly like,
it would have felt a little smoother,
little smoother, we'll say. But at the same time, he does meet Rocket on the bridge, and they put on their costume for the first time. And we see, she is like, she just like holds onto his hand as she flies away. Now, their costumes. We'll talk about their costumes a little bit.
Specifically because I like the way what he points out about hers.
What? Okay, so.
Because like they go to put on their costumes, and he's like, I don't know if I approve of your, because he's conservative too. He's like, I don't know if I approve of your costume. It's a little revealing or whatever.
Yeah, because it's like, basically, if you know Sue Storm from the late 90s, I think, where she had the 4 cut out on her boobies.
Yeah.
And so you could see
or like Power
cleavage.
Girl.
Or Power Girl. Yeah, same thing. So basically, she's got like all one spandex suit, some like red over underwear or whatever, and then like a cutout, a 90s jacket. You gotta have a 90s jacket, and then like a cutout where her cleavage is like just a circle. Belt. And a belt, yeah. That's her
but
belt.
She's got her cleavage, and so he's like, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that, and so, and then he's got like an all red suit. This is a very different costume, I thought, like from any other character there is. And I was trying to think of like what the colors are. I might be stupid. Are they like African colors or something? I don't know.
So usually red, green, and yellow are. So that, I think that's kind of what they were going for, because it's like an almost completely all red jumpsuit. Yeah. He's got a big, huge Spanish green cape.
Yeah.
Like his
like
suit.
there's like a sonic ring.
Yeah,
on his
gold
chest
ring in the middle
that everything kind of connects to. He's got some like weird blue like cloth that maybe holds his cape onto or something. I don't know what that does.
Yeah, I wouldn't sure.
But it's all connected to that ring, the sonic ring on his chest.
And then he also puts on like a little like black
like a Nightwing mask. It's basically a Nightwing mask. And like that'll hide his identity, his face.
Yeah, they'll never know who I am.
They'll never know. So they fly away, and that's pretty much the main issue, or that's like the main introduction of them. And then their first like encounter happens where they find out, oh, there's something going on down at the mayor's office, and we find out they land. And right away, she's like, why are we going into the middle of this? And he's like, well, they need help in the mayor's office. And she's like, I don't think it's good for like 2 black people to land in the middle of all these like SWAT cops or whatever. He's like, nonsense. We're here to help.
We're here to help. They'll welcome us with open arms.
Yeah. And so he's like, hi, I'm Icon. I'm here to help. And they're like, is that so? Well, like, put your hands on your head. Like, he's like, what? I haven't done anything wrong. Here now or whatever. And then they all turn at them and start cocking
and they cock their guns.
And he's like, and then they're just standing there, and he's trying to block Rocket from anybody shooting. And then before anybody shoots or anything, she says, I bet this never happens to Superman. And so I thought that was funny. That's like pretty much the end of the issue. It leaves it where like all these cops are about to shoot them in front of this whatever's going down at City Hall that they're trying to help. So, and like this is like this is where we get like the history of what happened in this Dakota verse to make people super, other than Icon. Icon is a special person. I think everybody else in the Dakota verse that has powers happened from this event.
Yeah.
So the event that happened the night before when Raquel and her friends went to rob the houses where all the cops were at this protest, that protest got, the cops used a special tear gas that was like a new tear gas.
New tear gas.
That apparently had some, what was the name of the gas? It was like tea gas or something, you know, whatever it was. And it apparently, is it N gas? I can't remember. There's like a name for it.
Well, I don't think they re-say it in this thing, but
but they do say it in static.
In static, yeah.
And so whatever the gas was called, they used it on the people. It killed a lot of the people, most of the people. Let's say like 95% of the people got killed from the gas, and then the rest of everybody got mutant powers of some kind. So what's going on in City Hall is the mayor and I guess the rest of the people in the City Hall are being held hostage by a man who used to be the mayor's like assistant,
like one of her confidant or something.
Yeah, and so he actually was at that protest, and he is now a mutant, and he's like, you know, it's time for payback. We find out later he transforms when Icon and everybody get in there, and he's like this big, like kind of killer croc.
He's like between like
monster,
a killer croc and a frog kind of creature.
Yeah. That's safe to say. And he's got claws and stuff, so they fight and whatnot. But his name's Payback, and so Anyway, so now Icon, we go back in the past a little bit. Icon and Rocket are sitting, and they're about to get beat up by the cops, and the cops literally just start attacking them. So the cops like I guess Raquel gets lippy because she's like, fuck you guys. Why?
Like, why do I get?
You haven't done anything.
I'm not a criminal. Why do I got to put my hands on my head?
Yeah, and then the head cop's like, how dare you talk to a policeman like that? Slap, and he tries to slap her, and basically we find out that one of her power that the belt gives her is like absorption and repurposing of the power. So anytime anything happens to her, it gets absorbed into the belt, and then she can use it however she wants.
Yeah.
So she punches the guy back with the same power that he tried to hit her, and like knocks him out, and then everybody tries to beat her up with nightsticks and stuff, but they can't hit her because she's got like a force field with this belt, and she's just like taking on all the cops basically. And they start shooting at her and everything.
And she realizes that she can use not only so she can punch back with power, then she can
blast, hone
that power, and you have some kind of like
energy
blast.
Yeah. And so like this is where we see like some weird stuff, because Icon's like, now hold on a second, like if you shoot back at her, he's trying to explain like she's got an energy belt, and if you hit her and they're not paying attention, and someone's like, you know what, you stay right here, pal, and like hits him in the back of the head with their rifle. This is where like he looks like he's in pain as it hits him. He like feels his neck like, ow, goes to rub it. And then he goes and he kind of beats the shit out of that guy. And then the cops start attacking him too. And this is where like all these cops try to hold him down and shoot him. And they are shooting him. And all the bullets are bouncing off. And then one guy runs up. He's like, hold him tight or whatever. And he goes and smacks him in the face with the butt of a gun. And then he's got blood on his nose. So I'm like, while he does get hit in the face, and it is kind of stone-faced, he does get blood on his nose. So I'm like, that would never happen from like a human hitting Superman kind of thing. So that's why we're trying to figure out exactly how strong he is, or if it's kind of like moment by moment, the madder he gets or something, or the more, the more he chooses to use his energy or something.
And even piecing like when he first got shot by the kids that broke in, the first shot, it made him fall down, but then he got right back up and was like,
I wasn't prepared.
Basically, I guess like it didn't just bounce off. It didn't hurt him, but it pushed him back because he wasn't like, I guess, ready to absorb the blow or something.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of what I guess we kind of gather here. Maybe he wasn't ready for that one to the face, and so he got a little blood. I don't know. It's a little. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
a little fuzzy.
Anyway, Icon eventually gives himself up. Rocket flies away. And he's like, okay, I'll cooperate. And he goes and sits in the car, and then everything goes wrong. The SWAT tries to attack, and they don't succeed. And so he's like, well, I'll help save everybody who's falling off the building now. And so he breaks out of the van that he was waiting in and saves a bunch of cops that were beating him up a second ago. And then Rocket flies back and also saves the cops. And she's like, hey, like, even though you didn't save me, like I'm here, look how better I am than you kind of thing. and the cop that she catches says like, "Hey, I'm sorry, really sorry I hit you before," and she's like, we're even. Sorry I caught you. Like the cops like now they see they're good guys, but like it's kind of weird because a second ago they were beating the shit out of them and being like shitty cops, and it's like, so you're trying to humanize cops a little bit, but also that you just showed them like be super authoritarian and fucked up. So if they weren't super people, they would be beaten and in jail right now. So, but anyway, they eventually get into the office where the mayor is being held, and we see what happens when they come in. He's like, I want you to tell everybody what you did, mayor. And she's like, I didn't do anything. He's like, you tell them or I'll show you. I'll show you what proof I have. And so like he basically turns into this monster because that's like what happened to him is the gas turned him into this monster, which is named Payback. And he says like, I'm Payback or whatever. Like he gets his moment where he says his name. He's like, I'm here for Payback or whatever. Yeah. And so yeah, then like they fight in the office. And what do you think of this fight? It was a little weird because Rocket fights him and then like Icon fights him, but Icon literally just right away gets scratched by him and he's like, he cut me. It's not possible. Like,
yeah, like very obvious that like he rips across his chest and he gets cut because there's blood dripping from Payback's hand, and Icon falls to his knees, and you're like, oh damn, like bullets jumped off of him, but this mutant was able, and again maybe it's partially the mutant powers,
right?
Like slash through his,
and the costumes are supposed to be like some different material and everything too. Exactly. So like a mutant from Earth apparently has the power to, break through like an alien Kevlar or whatever, and Superman chest or whatever.
Chest, yeah.
So like that's where I'm like, there's a little confusion with me at least in this first couple of issues of what are his powers exactly? Powers, yeah. Like I get, and they just like kind of randomly pull out some powers because we're just getting to know him. So like later on, he's like, "Here's a blinding white energy light I have." Like you're like, "Oh, that might have come useful when you were fighting Payback earlier," but whatever. And so
so Rocket steps in to fight him, and then that's kind of interesting because
this is where you get to see like really how powerful she is with her energy absorbing belt or whatever.
Yeah, and he basically can't land an actual hit on her. Like I think he like pushes, he has enough power to where she gets like pushed back or like thrown down the hall or whatever, but she still doesn't get hurt because she's protected by the energy field or whatnot.
Right. Yeah, and like so like technically she's better at fighting than he is, but then at the same time like he's a lawyer, so you're not really. I'm like, how does he know how to fight anyway? Like but then he was in World War II. You would think he would have picked up boxing or something in the 100+ years he's been alive, so that's what it's like. So what'd you do all those years? Like you watch Groundhog Day and, after he like kills himself and shit, he learns how to play piano and stuff really well and, those kind of things. So like you would imagine.
By the end of that movie, he's a jack of all trades. He knows how to do everything. Cars. He's like saving people from like heart attacks. Yeah. Playing piano. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you think there'd be like over those years he's learned something more than lawyering, but I don't know. Apparently not. So yeah, like I guess we're not supposed to expect him to know how to fight like a bad
mutant
guy or
creature,
whatever.
yeah.
But then also again, he's fighting a mutant who was a mayor's assistant. So I don't, you know what I mean? Like they both don't really, they're not from the bad part of town where they learn how to fight young as kids or something, So I don't know. But anyway, they fight. Then like eventually Payback gets out of there because he's like, oh, I can't beat this girl. She's like got that belt and it's absorbing all my power or whatever. And so the mayor's like, oh, thank you for helping me. And Icon's like, oh, no problem. It was just a scratch or whatever. And it doesn't seem like he's really that hurt. But then like
because he says like he's already healing. It'll take like I guess he's got kind of like Wolverine powers, but it doesn't heal right away. He's like it'll take like a week to fully heal.
Right, and like he has to fight off the rest. I guess there was other people that stormed the building with that guy.
Yeah, they're like that's what they said. They call them terrorists, but I was like, I don't know. Like I guess technically they are terrorists.
Well, yeah, they took over a building with guns and held a hostage of a mayor.
Yes. That does sound.
Now they weren't wearing like the Hawaiian shave ice Scandinavian weird headdress or whatever, but the buffalo horns.
Yeah.
But yeah, like yeah, that's
Yeah, that's true.
It was definitely a takeover of a government building and holding hostage of
government
with weapons of government officials.
True. Okay, terrorists. Call them what they are. You're right. Terrorists.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, so Payback runs away and he runs down the sewer and he can't get rid of fucking Rocket though. She's like on his ass the whole time, and like so he fights her in the sewer for a little bit. Then Icon, he saves the mayor, goes down there, and basically he gets the guy to like turn himself in, like because he can't beat her, and he's like, fine, I give, and like she like it's funny because like he's like, I give, and she's like, all right, let's like sit on the side of this, like let's sit in the sewer on this ledge, like talk it out, like tell me about what happened. He's like, I'm just mad about the Big Bang that happened and how she poisoned everybody, but like isn't saying anything. And so basically this is how Rocket finds out about what happened. This is how Icon's going to find out about what happened. So it ends up becoming their cause, or like them trying to find evidence for this thing. Because basically there's been a government cover up of this Big Bang that happened when all these bang babies, that's what they call them, were born. All these mutants were born out of that. And then everybody else died. So like you think there'd be like, Alex Jones or some shit on there, like trying to be like, they killed him with the gas.
With the gas.
Yeah. So
the gas had the special chemical in it, and they specifically did it. It killed 95% of the population. The other 5% got special powers. I have proof of it in these videotapes.
They're turning the frogs gay. Anyway. Yeah, then some like weird outlandish thing that has nothing to do with it. But yeah, so anyway, this guy gives himself up. Icon's like, you know what? If you really want to get to the bottom of this, you should turn yourself in, and I promise we'll like give you like, because he's a lawyer. He's kind of like Matt Murdock, where he fights the guys and then he'll like defends them in court or whatever sometimes because he's a good guy. If the person's like got a reason to fight, kind of thing. And so it's weird because at one side he's getting like the key to the city from the mayor for saving her, but at the same time he's going to start investigating her for this thing that happened, this Big Bang where she killed a bunch of people because she authorized this gas that's like whatever, I don't know, government gas that was made or whatever. It's kind of interesting. Like you can see the cops in Dakota are very militarized as well, which is
yeah, they kind of look like shield agents from like the 90s.
Yeah, they definitely have like Judge Dredd armor or something.
Yeah.
Like you can definitely see them as like judges or whatnot, judging people and hitting them with rifle butts. And
and one thing we didn't mention, but it's not like a big plot point, but all of the like different cop groups have like these different like hardcore names to their cop group. Like the cops that were there for dealing with the terrorists, what were they called? They were called like
I don't know. I didn't catch the name.
The one group is called like Slice, and another group's called like
Shredders.
They're just like whatever like an acronym would be or something, but it's like
ethnic cleansers.
They're just hardcore names to it. And it's like
names that police
groups should not have.
Yeah. So anyway. That's pretty much like the big like introduction of them and their powers and like what they got going on, and then like here's the mystery, like what their goal is to find out what really happened at the Big Bang, to expose and unmask like this conspiracy that the government's protecting about the Big Bang that happened. So in the middle of that, we get like a Rocket story that is about her finding out because she finds out at the end of this. Because Icon is like, hey, you should take it easy. You shouldn't fight that hard with like your condition. And she's like, what? My condition? And he's like, yeah, you're pregnant. And she's like, what? And then then we find out.
Yeah, that was kind of like, so how does he know she's pregnant?
I don't know.
Again, his powers are
his alien powers. He smells it on. I don't fucking know.
He just like senses the aura. He's like, you got this like glow to you?
Yeah. I just noticed this glow you have. Anyway. I was going to say something bad, but I'm not going to say it anyway. Just like the cutout on your shirt, like your boobs look bigger than normal or whatever.
That's horrible.
But yeah, so anyway, he tells her like, oh yeah, you're pregnant. And so she's like, no, I'm not. So like the next issue is all about her trying to like figure out, is she pregnant? And she's like talking to her friends and talking to like, she's going to the store to get like a pregnancy test, and of course it's like the kind of tropey thing where she's like, oh, I'm getting 10 candy bars and these smokes and these whatever.
The pregnancy testers for my friend.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're like, price check on aisle 16, pregnancy test, and then like everybody looks at her like, whoa, a young girl with a pregnancy test, and she's all embarrassed.
Because again, remember, she's 15.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so I mean, yeah. And Icon in the meantime is going around kind of doing like, normal superhero stuff for once. So this is like the first time he's actually done that we've seen any like stopping little crimes. So he's like stopping like purse thieves and carjackers and stuff like that. And, just doing his duty. And they're like, we saw you on the news with the mayor. And like white people are like, I know you're okay because I saw you on the news with the mayor.
Yeah.
They're not afraid of him. And then he like goes to his like office. He flies in. I don't know how he gets through the door. As like it shows him going to his building, but they don't show him enter his office.
I assume he comes in on the roof and goes down. I mean, it looks like he goes.
They're kind of alluding he goes through the window, but windows on skyscrapers don't open, John. So.
Maybe
that's a really old building, and they did. I don't know. I don't think
horrible.
So. I would hope they don't. But anyway, yeah. And then they even say like his secretary's like, I didn't see him come back from lunch. Like, so yeah. He's always got to remember to take his like Nightwing mask off. That's like just like pushed onto his face.
Yeah.
I'm like, how does it stay on?
Yeah. Literally, it's just, it looks like
it's literally Nightwing's mask. Like it's Nightwing's mask with a couple little extra frills on it or whatever. But anyway, yeah, he's like coming up with his case to defend the guy that held the mayor hostage now. So he's like taking this case, and the guy's like, are you sure you want to take his partner? His like, are you sure you want to take this case? The guy was a terrorist, or he's like, I think, he's got a point, even though he might be guilty of terrorism, he still had a point. He might not have gone about it the right way.
Yeah. Well, and he kind of mentions like, what do you think of the conspiracy theory, quote unquote, he's talking about?
Yeah. And then he's also reading a magazine of that says like it's like a I don't know, Dakota Time Weekly or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like
it looks like one of those tabloidy magazines.
Yeah, and it's like the Blood Syndicate, and we see there's like some kind of group of people that look mutant-y on the cover of that. Yeah. And then he's also looking at pictures of the bridge, and this is the bridge where they met. They don't ever tell you, other than that one night where she's like, all the cops are gonna, or where her friends are gonna, like, all the cops are gonna be at the bridge. We'll rob the house. They never say like, oh, this is why the bridge is fucked up or anything, because there was this giant riot where like explosions happened, and then, or it was actually just a protest, but it became a riot once they started gassing everybody and murdering people. So yeah, then like the bridge is all fucked up from that. So he's like, I gotta find more proof about this, and this Blood Syndicate seems to be the first people to ask about it because they were there apparently. And so he actually goes to like the person who wrote that article in the newspaper or in the paper that he was reading, and she's like, no, I don't know anything about this. And he's like, really? Because you wrote articles about stuff. And she's like, no, I mean, I'm just not talking about.
It's like hearsay or whatever.
Yeah, it was just just a story. And he's like, really? You don't know anything that happened? And she starts crying, and she's like, please don't kill me. Like, is this a test? Like I promise I won't say anything. And he's like, Jesus Christ. Like, I was, I'm not a bad person. He's like, I know I saw you with the mayor, so I know you're one of the bad guys or whatever kind of thing. So obviously people are getting to, like the Secret Service or whatever is getting around to people who are writing stories about this, journalists, and threatening them or their families and making them scared to talk. Or at least let out the information about this. So then he basically tracks down like who he needs to talk to, and who he needs to talk to is the Blood Syndicate. He should have known that from the cover of the fucking magazine, but I guess he didn't read it too well. He just read the first byline and then the name of the author. So, but
okay, so I didn't read your article, but I assume you knew. What
I looked at the pictures and it seemed very interesting. So and then we find out that Rocket goes to or takes her pregnancy test at home, and she's like, it says you're pregnant, and she's like, no, it's not. Like, these things can be wrong all the time or whatever, and so she's like pretty sure, but she's in denial or whatever. In the meantime, Icon goes to confront the Blood Syndicate. So the Blood Syndicate is actually a group of different gang members, say like all these gang members, different gangs, like say the Bloods and the Crips and the M3 and what was it MS-13 and like all those gangs all went to the same bridge to protest this thing. They weren't fighting, but like 95% of all of them got killed. So instead of like keeping their like, hey, there's 2 members of the Crips and there's 5 members of the Bloods left and all these, they just like banded together into one gang called Blood Syndicate and they're like, let's put aside our shit and like we'll all work together
yeah.
as kind of like a superhero team in our own neighborhood. We'll take care of our own area
because they all have some kind of power.
Yeah, so they're all mutants. And the first guy he goes to talk to is, what's the guy's name? Wise?
Brother Wise?
Brother Wise. Something Wise. I want to say Sam Wise. It's not Sam Wise. It's Wise. Oh, damn. Wise Son. There you go. That's
Son.
what it is. I'm like, I know it's Wise. Something Wise. So his name's Wise Son, and he's like the leader of the Blood Syndicate. And Icon approaches him, like punches him in this like first meeting because like he basically is like, man, fuck you. I saw you talking to the mayor. You're their like lackey. Like they call him Tom.
Yeah.
Like instead of like calling him Uncle Tom basically.
Yeah.
Instead of Icon. And so yeah, they could have like they don't trust him at all. Rightly so, because they saw him with like the government or whatever, and they're like suspicious anyway. So basically, they like all approach him once they see him beating up Wise Son, and they're like, "You fuck with the Wise or with the Blood Syndicate.
You fuck
and,
with
like,
all of us.
You fuck with all of us. Like we're all gonna beat the fuck out of you." So they all start fighting Icon, and in the meantime, Rocket is still doing her thing with pregnancy and whatnot. And this is weird. Like everybody takes Icon on. And this is where like he's like actually Superman-ish. Where like he's just taking him out one by one, even like really super powered people. He has no problem with like stopping a punch from Wise Son or one of the guys grows super big. I don't remember all their names. But like this dude, he can grow. It's like Giant Man basically.
Yeah.
And he grows super giant.
Oh, he's Third Rail.
Third Rail, that's right. I don't know. I mean, you would assume he's got electrical powers with that name, but I guess he can grow big too. And so,
well, when he sat on him and grew big, he looked like he had some kind of like electrical shock like flowing around him.
Okay. So anyway, he's fighting these guys and he's able to like take them out with like one punch each kind of thing. Eventually, because there's so many of them, they do get like a one up on him.
Yeah. Well, there's a really big one. Her name is Brick House.
Yeah.
And she looks like the Thing, but like.
She's a brick.
Even bigger and look, kind of made out of bricks or whatever.
House.
And there's another one. Was it DMZ?
Yeah, DMZ is so DMZ is interesting. It doesn't really matter that much right now, but basically, Icon's like, don't I know you? Like, you seem familiar. And DMZ is actually like, it's weird. He wears the exact same thing in Icon's flashback from 100 years ago.
Yeah, but
he's wearing the same shirt, so he's only got one shirt apparently. And so DMZ is actually another alien that was on the same ship that he was on when it was blowing up.
Yeah, and it was funny.
Apparently has landed on Earth as well.
Because he's trying to talk to him and he's not talking. He's like, wait a minute. And so it was cool because the language goes from the English type to some weird alien script or whatever. And then, okay, they understand. He understands them.
It's weird. I was like, that's a weird, like, and then they have a flashback where it shows him in the same shirt.
Yeah.
And like mask and everything. So why would he be wearing a shirt and a mask and the same one 100 years ago? But whatever. It's just like, we're setting up story plot lines for future stuff or whatever. Yeah. So, but anyway, Raquel's going through some shit at the same moment. So like this fight is happening over like hours, I'm assuming, because like Raquel's having like a heart to heart with her grandma. And like, I would assume like hours of talking about like serious shit and Icon's beating the fuck out of them, or they're beating
I assume like
Icon.
I assume they took one-on-one turns, and then because like, I remember
Kumite.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I saw their names. There's one Fade, Masquerade, Third Rail, and Dog with 2 G's.
Yeah, Dog, which looks like a rat.
Yeah,
interesting.
And then the other one that I thought the powers were cool was Flashback.
They can like reset time. That's a very cool power, I thought. Where like he does something and then she's like, hold on a second, flashback, and then like he comes back and And he's like, what the hell?
He's like, yeah, what just happened?
Yeah, and she's like, she can make time go backwards so they can like replay a moment. And so like that's actually how like he eventually ends up by like getting taken on by all of them. He like has met his match kind of thing.
Yeah.
At the same time, so like this is like I said, this fight is going over a very long period of time because they show Raquel talking. Well, first off, going to the store, buying a pregnancy test, going home, taking the pregnancy test,
Talking to your friend,
about that. Then her grandma comes home. Then they go to sit in a swing set somewhere and have a conversation, a heart to heart about it. And grandma's like, you know, like I already raised you, I can't raise another baby, so you better take care of this baby. And she's all freaking out about it. So she goes to now confront the guy who's the guy that like shot Icon.
Yeah,
is her boyfriend. I can't remember his name, but she goes to him and or his name's Noble.
Noble,
which I mean,
what a great name.
What a great name for a guy who shot Icon and knocks up his girlfriend after he pressures her into having sex.
Because and he's like, how do you know it's mine?
Yeah, like not only that, but like she's like, we just did it once and it was only because he wanted to. So like 1, he pressured her into having sex. 2, he got her pregnant. 3, she goes to confront him and he's like, how do you know it was me? And it's, you know, insinuating that she sleeps around or whatever.
Yeah.
And she gets mad, so she punches him and then walks away. In the meantime, the fight is still going on with Icon, but eventually he meets his match with, there's like a monkey guy that starts beating on him, and Brickhouse starts beating on him. And he can't take on all of the Blood Syndicate by himself eventually. So then, as he's like about to like, as they're like, let's kill this motherfucker, next issue starts, and basically Rocket shows up then and is like, I'll take care of you guys. You know, so like she must have seen this on the news after she had all this stuff.
Something. Or
after the like 8 hours of her doing this day, she's like, oh, wait a second.
I've seen Icon all day.
Yeah, he got the shit beat out of him by the Blood Syndicate. So yeah, she shows up and she pretty much takes on all of them because everybody who's strong, like she just absorbs their energy and gives it back to them. So she can pretty much take on everybody. And she takes them all on. And then when they're all like, hold on, like, wait a second, Icon then is like, gets up and he's like, look at this new power I have that I didn't show you before. I have a spirit bomb or whatever.
I know. I thought maybe it was going to be like a big power blast or
energy
something.
blast. I don't know what it is. It's just a very, very, very bright,
blinding white light, like ball, like appears in his hand.
And everybody's like, oh, like now that you had that, like we're all talking shit.
It was a spirit bomb. He just needed time to charge it.
That's what I'm saying. Like you just need to be like, Earth,
give me your power.
Everybody, the plants,
all the living
animals.
things.
Yeah. So he just he basically talks to them and says like, look, I'm really just trying to figure out about the Big Bang that happened. Tell me about like what happened. Do you guys have any proof? We're trying to uncover and help you guys out. So then they like shake hands on it and they're like, okay, we'll work together, but like next time don't fuck with Blood Syndicate kind of thing. And so that's pretty much like the main thing. She actually asked like, what was that, power? And then he shoots it into the water and it just looks like an energy beam.
Yeah.
And she's like, whoa, but like, I don't know, what would that have done?
Yeah, it's true. We don't know the extent of it.
I don't know.
Then he's like, man, someone could recognize who you are. Here, you need a mask too.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Like her face is shown. She's got like the bodysuit, but it shows her face. So she puts on another Nightwing mask like him.
She kind of reminds me of the little thing like Gambit wears. Because like it like his hair pops out the top and then it goes around his.
It's exactly like what Gambit wears.
Chin, yeah.
So yeah, and she even says like, "What is this supposed? This little thing supposed to disguise me? What does it make my eyes white or whatever?" Like I thought that was funny because they kind of make fun of how in comic books you put on like a little mask that has no way of adhering to your face and
somehow
your eyes are white and it hides your identity. So then the rest of this comic is all about. She like confronts him and she's like, so like finally tell me what what are your powers?
How do you fly? Like what is going on?
What is this thing? Like what are you? Like how are you a human able to do this? He's like, I'm not a human, I'm an alien. She's like, whatever, fine, don't tell me.
Hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, I don't believe you. And it's weird because like why wouldn't you believe him? I don't understand why she wouldn't believe him.
Yeah, that's true. Because at first she's like, "Why would you lie to me?"
Yeah.
He gets all mad. It's like
he's like, "No, I've been alive for 150 years." She's like, "Come on, tell me the truth. I can handle it." And he's like, "I am telling you the truth.
I am. I lived through slavery, Jim Crow, apartheid,
Yeah.
World War One, World War Two, like the
World
Holocaust."
War III.
Yeah.
So yeah, like basically she doesn't believe him. But then like they like go separate ways or whatever. She's got to go to school and shit. And she skips school one day and she goes to the free clinic to look into getting an abortion. So this is one of those like heavy kind of comic of the week. Like the
we're gonna deal with some human stuff today.
Yeah, very special issue of Icon. So
today, Rocket decides that she's gonna have an abortion.
Yeah, so she goes to this place. She goes in. They're like, "Well, first we have to make sure you're pregnant." So they give her another pregnancy test, and it's like, for sure you're pregnant now, because before I guess you get false positives with like a home pregnancy test, and she's like, "Oh, like I don't know what to do. Just like tell me what I should kind of do," to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Well, I mean, I had an abortion and I'm a doctor. That's one hand.
I can't tell you. Here's my story, but also it's if you need it done, it's like $500.
Yeah, which I don't think it's that much. I don't know how much it is.
I don't know.
And Fast Times at Richmond High, it's $150 or something, or 130 or something. So I'm going by that. So maybe my math is wrong.
You have to think like inflation.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so she's talking to this doctor, and the doctor's like, "Well, I had an abortion, and I'm a doctor." So like that tells you one thing, and then but also, if I had had the kid, maybe it would have been harder for me, but I would have had a child that I love, who would have been about your age now. So like, I can't make this decision for you. I thought that was kind of nice.
Yeah,
it wasn't like super heavy-handed, like you should have an abortion or whatever,
or you should not have an abortion.
Yeah, exactly. Either one.
It didn't. That's one thing that for the rest of her story on this, all the things that she goes through, you think what it might go towards, it's actually very much
someone
like
telling her what she should do.
It's very much like, no, you need to make up your own decision.
They give her all the agency in the world in this, which is cool that they do for like, I mean, especially in the 90s for like a female character. So like, yeah, she's like, but it's heavy because she's 15 and she's got to decide like this life-changing thing.
Yeah.
So she's mad kind of because she like, well, the only thing that was kind of like fucked up was the doctor's like, well, if you're going to have an abortion, you should have it like as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because like it's real hard to like have it later. So like it's a lot easier to do it.
Oh,
now.
yeah, that's true. Because like
if you're going to have one, like decide today if you could, that'd be great. And she's like, I can't decide. Like this is a big thing. You just told me to like.
Yeah, but it's like an easy outpatient procedure today. If you wait much longer, there might be surgery involved.
Yeah. But like, take your time.
Take your time.
But like, it's a big life-changing decision. Doctor, loving mother with a child that you love. I don't know. But also, can you hurry up? Because I'd rather not have an all-day surgery thing. It'd be easier for me.
It was, that was a little weird.
So like, well, the doctor's kind of giving her like mixed messages or whatever. But then, so she doesn't decide anything that day. And then she leaves and she's like, okay, I'm going to go talk to Icon about this because Icon, he's a conservative Republican. He's going to tell me what to do.
Yeah,
he's going to say, do not have an abortion. You need to have this child. You need to be responsible for your actions. It takes two to tango. You should have been safe or you should have been abstinent or whatever the fuck he's supposed to say. And he talks to her. And this is where I thought, like, these people are people. They're being people, which is nice. They're not just talking points of whatever you think. Yeah. They're not a caricature of a Republican or whatever.
No, it was cool because then she's like, look, I kind of need help. And she's like, and actually, I need Augustus's help.
Yeah. And like when she goes to talk to him, he's like, look, you might think I'm going to say something, either way, but like, here's what I'm going to tell you. And he tells her about his wife that he had. What was her name? Estella. Yeah. And so he tells him, I was married once and like, she was an Earth woman. We, fell in love. It was great. It was in like the 20s or whatever.
Yeah. And she knew about that he was an alien.
Yeah. And so she knew about me and everything. She got pregnant and we were basically like we were told by the ship, it ain't gonna happen. Like your species can't have a baby. Yeah. Like so, basically,
don't bring that abomination into the world.
So they had to pay for an abortion and find someone to do it in like the 20s or whatever. Yeah. So he's like, it was a lot harder back then. So like and basically he's like, it was a very hard decision. This is probably why I'm against abortion or something with it. Like maybe that's what his story is. But then he says, but I can't put myself in your place. I can't tell you what to do. If you need money, take it. It's a gift. I will like help you and support you however I can.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm your friend. Yeah, that was really cool.
And she like hits him, which I thought was funny because she was like, you're supposed to tell me don't do it or whatever. And you're supposed to be the guy to say like, don't fucking have an abortion or do have an abortion or whatever. So like she leaves that up to him, or I'm sorry, he leaves that up to her to decide, but he's going to be a good friend and role model or whatever, which is like, I'm going to stand beside you. So she's left to figure out what to do. We don't actually get closure on that in this. But then the last episode or the last issue happens, and it's pretty much like a journal entry where she's talking about like, so like basically Icon said he was an alien, and this is what's going on. Like I designed it's like a recap of everything.
It was cool because to me it kind of made me feel like at least she's finding her like herself and like her way forward. So we don't get the closure on the baby part,
right?
But we get that sense that like, oh, she has found out who she is going to be going forward. She's obviously going to probably be a writer
Rocket,
still.
Yeah.
But also
she decides she's going to be a writer. But she's still like, she's like, I want to do it, but I don't know if I can with a baby. It's so hard to like figure this out kind of thing. And then Icon's like, let me show you something. If you don't believe me, take my word for it. I guess she's at his house writing this journal. Like it must take place directly after the last episode. Like he tells her that story. She's like, I don't believe you about him being an alien. Then she goes to his house for the advice. Then she must have brought her journal and is sitting there on this couch writing like, I need some time or whatever. And he's like, okay, think about it. And then like he comes back in and he's like, you know what? If you don't believe me about being an alien, let me
look at this.
Show you some proof. So he opens up a floorboard and there's all this shit and like all these stairs that go down into a cellar, and he's telling her the whole story about like, this is where you find out I was on a cruise. I'm not even like a badass or anything, and like he's not a predator. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like he's not like a predator on a cruise or anything. He was just like, I'm an alien on a cruise, and yeah, that's about all that happened. And it went down, and I just got onto a
escape pod, and bam.
Yeah, so he
No.
Right.
I would just say like they go through all these long walkways and whatnot, and he opens up this big slab, and
there's a spaceship there.
His perfectly preserved space pod.
Yeah, which looks a lot like Cell's spaceship, I thought, or his time machine.
Oh yeah, it kind of
a little capsule core, a little bit in there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she's like, "You're from outer space." He's like, "Yeah, I told you that." So like now she believes him because she saw the spaceship, and yeah, she's like, "This is crazy, a spaceman." I just think it's funny. Like, why is that so hard to believe? He gave you a fucking belt that like gives you powers and shit, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm an alien."
All the stuff she's seen already, and well, not until she saw the metallic space pod that she's like, "Oh, whoa, you're an alien."
Yeah, and then like he tells her his whole history of like that's where he says like, "Oh, I was in the war, I was a slave, I was all this stuff, I was in World War II, blah blah blah." And so she learns all of his history, and she writes all this in her notebook, which is probably not very smart, like her diary. Someone's gonna read. That's probably a storyline later on, like someone reads this and it gets out or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, because of like finding out about him and finding about his achievements and what he's overcome in his life, she's like, you know what? I finally decided something. I am going to be a writer. I've always wanted to be one. I'm going to write about history, about achievement, about heroes. And then it says, and the sudden possibility of flight, because she can now fly. So that's how this book ends, on like a really high note for her, where she's like, you know what? Whatever. She don't say her decision, whether she's going to get an abortion or not, but she's decided, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And she knows she's going to be a writer at least. So, whether she's a writer with a kid and it's harder maybe, or she's going to have an abortion and become a writer. Either way.
That way.
So,
but either way, she knows who's her truth and how she's going to be going forward. Now she's like figured that out with Icon's help, and
that's the end.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're left. And so what did you think about this book, John?
I really liked it overall. Like I would totally read the rest of the story. Like it was fun. I like the comedy. The comedic moments in it were really good.
Yeah, it wasn't as funny as like Static or whatever,
no.
which is or like other even Deathlock had some like funny stuff because that's also a Dwayne McDuffie book.
That's right.
So we happen to read a lot of Dwayne McDuffie. I'm sorry, he's very prolific and he's written a lot of stuff that is interesting to read. So while we hit a lot of his books, we try not to only hit his books. So that's why we did Christopher Priest with Black Panther, and then we're gonna do Ed Piskor, who's a white guy, but he did a bunch of history of hip hop. So. In comic book form.
Yeah.
So, that's, Dwayne McDuffie's a great writer and it wasn't as funny as his other stuff, but I think it might've been because this is like two different kind of characters that he's used to writing. It's a teenage girl who's going through teenage girl stuff. And also like, an alien who's a black man who was a slave who
was a Republican.
Yeah, who's a Republican. So like there's
like
different
it's kind of
things.
stepping out of the box. And I think maybe again that's also part of why I like it. So like I've really been enjoying obviously most of my life Dwayne McDuffie characters.
Right.
From television to comics now.
Yeah.
Which is funny that I found that in reverse order. But like Icon was really unique in the spectrum of comics that we've read.
Yeah. I think he would be interesting if he was rebooted as he is today. I heard that they're doing him different now when they're rebooting it. But I mean, like, this is like an interesting character that I would like to see someone do a take on of the same like version.
I could totally see the exact same origin too. Like,
right.
They don't need to change that at all. Like, he comes as a slave and he goes through all of that same history. But then, it could be like modern. It could be up to today, like with the 2000s and all.
Yeah.
That.
I mean, they mentioned like Rodney King and police brutality. I'm like, well,
it's all very prevalent still,
whatever.
obviously. Like, this is just history.
We're talking about authoritarian governments, people. All right. So.
This week on the podcast, we're going to talk to you about...
What is this, the Dennis Miller podcast? Anyway.
I like the character a lot. And while it maybe wasn't the strongest of the characters he created, like, it's still really unique.
It's very unique. I mean, I was reading this and I'm like, I'm just going to keep reading this because, like, it's interesting. I want to see. I have no idea what's going to happen in this. Like,
because every time the character from one maybe the powers thing. If we don't look at that specifically, because
I'm nitpicking. Like, I'm not like,
but like
crazy.
The character of Icon himself. Every time like Icon and Augustus in one, like every time that they make a decision, it's not always the decision you expect them to make, and I really like that. That was really cool.
Yeah, and I think they went out of their way to kind of really flesh his like what would he actually do, like, you know what I mean, like not just say what I think in this character's mouth. It's like, what would this character who I've created, who's got its own ideas and personality and everything, what would they do in this situation? The same with Rocket. Like, yes, they are obviously left-wing people, but they're like, well, is she going to get an abortion or isn't she? We might think she should or whatever, but she's like, we're gonna have her go to this situation because we think that people should know about these things. Like, you have the option to go to clinics or those kinds of things and whatnot. But you should definitely have conversations with people about it and talk to people you trust. And, like the fact that she does that, even with someone like Icon, who's someone new that's an authority figure, but she trusts him. And even though he's not necessarily, like, he could have been like, how dare you be, like he could have gotten mad. Or
how could you even think of an abortion?
Yeah, or whatever. So, she trusted him enough to be a friend and not just freak out on her or whatever. Yeah. So, I really like this too. On that note, what would you give this one, John?
This is a solid comic. Like I said, I totally would continue to read this one. And art was great.
Yeah, the art was serviceable.
Solid.
It wasn't like
solid
amazing.
90s.
It was just like, it didn't look 90s. It had its own style, but the style to me was just kind of like there. It was just, it's there.
Yeah.
There's nothing amazing. I wouldn't, if you put it in a lineup, I couldn't pick it out, kind of thing. There's nothing that really stood out, but it was like, yeah, I get everything that's happening on the page. It all looks good. It's standard, jobber, art or whatever. Not that I've never read anything else by MD Bright, and I apologize if I'm like hurting his feelings or whatever. I just never in this comic in particular, I wasn't like, whoa, the art is crazy or something, you know. So
no, it was good. You use the word serviceable to where I use the word like. I mean, standard. It feels like
it's
very
average.
natural.
It's like
comic.
It is a what you expect from a monthly comic art.
Exactly.
It's consistent.
Yeah,
this nothing was weird or anything.
This is not a special.
This isn't like your
one-off story
90s
where everybody's
artist.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, especially like in the 90s. This isn't your I can't draw ankles Rob Liefeld or like
or Captain America chests.
Yeah, or Captain America chest, Rob Liefeld. A lot of Rob Liefelds in there. Or like, or the Image guys who are like all art and no story kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is serviceable art and above average storytelling kind of thing. It goes out of your way to make real characters and art that tells the story well, but just well. It's not like you're not gonna buy these pages unless you really, really like Icon or something.
Yeah, and we mentioned several times like it's pretty obvious that like some of the things that we were able to make connections to as far as like we don't know. We want to say whether it's borrowing or whether it's so natural in your repertoire.
You're
hard.
creating new characters. You're gonna go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm writing a comic right now, and that thing is like, oh, do you like Highlander and other stuff like that, and Conan and blah blah blah?
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, there you go.
Then you'll probably like this. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah. I mean, you borrow from the stuff you love. This is different enough that I'm not like, well, this is Martian Manhunter meets.
Well, see,
blah blah blah.
You say that, but my comic would be like, a character that looks like Kermit the Frog taking on, Hydra Anyway, so overall, I would say it's solid. I would give it a 7. Like it was enjoyable. I would totally want to read more. It's one that I could be like, hey, like
especially if there's only like 20 issues of this run or whatever. I would finish this run and be like, there you go. Like I wish there was more of it this specific run.
That's it.
Yeah. But then the interesting thing is you go back and now that they're releasing them, you could read all of Static Shock,
all the tie-in
stuff, all of Static, I should say, and then all of the Blood Syndicate has actually had its own comic, so you could read that one.
Nice.
And I think there's other ones I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, there's I think a couple other ones that were
Hardware.
part of it. Yeah, Hardware, which is like Iron Man kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, like and they're releasing all those stuff. Like Hardware is actually released in trade too. So I was debating whether Icon or Hardware, and I'm like, I think Icon is like a different enough character that'll be really interesting to read. So let's do that one. So, but yeah, check all those out from Milestone, either at your comic book store, which you should always go support your local comic book store if you can. Otherwise, I buy a lot of my stuff digitally, especially if you just want to try it out. Go to Comixology or whatever, or wherever you get digital stuff. And then, I'm going to give this one a 7 as well, because while the art was a 5, copying you, I always let you go first. All right. I'm never copying you.
I know we should start doing it at the same time because I always feel like you're stealing my ideas with them.
What?
I'm stealing.
No, I just come up with better reasons why.
I know. I'm kidding.
Anyway, so like while the art was serviceable, I would give, if it was just the art, I'd be like 6. It's better than like blah. It's just like, I mean, it's there. It's perfect. Tells a story just like it should. But the storytelling, I think, raises it up to a 7, especially because I want to read more. That's like the main thing is you never want. This is like how you should do politics in a comic too. I don't feel like they're beating me over the head. While I can tell their politics, I don't feel like they're beating me over the head with their stuff. Even though at the beginning some of their stuff was a little like
it was a little cringy at first,
a little bit cringy, but you could tell they're like, okay, we're just trying to get this character out and like you get to know who he is. So here's a little thing, he's Republican, like whatever. So
this comic,
he fleshed him out in the first like 8 issues.
Yeah. And this comic does what you want a good comic to do is you want someone to be like, oh, I want to keep reading that. Like, that's how you get people to keep paying to buy your comics.
I've read lots of comics where I was like, I would not keep reading this after a certain point. Like,
we've had enough going through this podcast where I was like, even if I liked it, I was like, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm not intrigued enough to keep reading. Whatever.
Like, we read the first trade. Okay, I like, that's good enough for me.
Good enough.
But like, no, I will probably finish Icon.
Yeah, and especially since it's only like 2 trades or whatever.
Yeah.
So, So I give it a 7. John gives it a 7. Next week we are going to be finishing up Black History Month with the Hip Hop Family Tree Volume 1, which is I guess the historical comic book retelling of how hip hop was born and like the history of that with like Grandmaster Flash and all that stuff from the 70s and into the 80s. And it's by Ed Piskor, who's to me he's like an indie god. Like he's one of these guys that's like you hear his name all over the place right now. He's really popular like with all the indie kids, but for some reason he's not getting. I mean, he did Marvel stuff where he did like the history of the Marvel X-Men universe, and like in like 3 graphic novels, he did like the entire 200 issues, the first 200 issues of X-Men in 3 graphic novels.
Oh wow!
So it's like then this happened, then this happened, then this happened, but like in a good storytelling way where like it makes sense, and you're like, oh, now I know exactly. I know what happened with like why Dark Phoenix happened, but I didn't have to read 150 issues or whatever. I just read his trade, kind of thing. So like that, it's good for that kind of stuff. But he really goes out of his way to give it his own style. He definitely has his own comic book art. So even though he's a white guy, we don't fault him for that. He did it. He put his heart and soul into these hip hop books. He did like 4 volumes of the Hip Hop Family Tree, which is award winning and very popular. And
exactly. And Black History Month is all about celebrating Black culture completely. So
yes.
This is going to go, deeper into, and some things that, I don't know if we'll know everything about. So that'll be cool.
Well, I mean, me personally, I did not grow up listening to hip hop. So all of this, I mean, while I might know the names and stuff, I'm not necessarily familiar with all the songs or all the groups or exactly what might have, occurred before what and whatnot. So that's why I wanted to read this. So I'm like, I love music. I love music history. Hip hop is a genre I haven't really dug that deep into. So like, while I like some stuff, this is like, oh, this is where it came from. And that's usually when you learn appreciation for something. You're like, oh, I know where it came from. I see the progression and the flow of it. And now I like want to listen to all this stuff or whatever. So, I'm very excited to read it. So if you guys want to pick that up and read it before or just hear us spoil it, do that either one. So and with that, if you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can email us at planestrains.comicbooks, all one word, @gmail.com.
And don't forget to check out our Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube channel for exclusive content. We got some great reviews coming out with Matt. He's started a nice little new series there. We're gonna have
on YouTube,
and we're gonna we're kind of throwing some more into our YouTube. We're gonna have some more content. We're gonna have some more unboxings here shortly.
Yeah, unboxings, reviews, reading vlogs. I'm reading a bunch of stuff just for you guys every week. So you just see how much shit I read. So yeah, and then if you guys feel so inclined, it really helps us out if you would rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or iTunes or whatever. So if you are so inclined, please do that. Actually, I mean, you can review us, however you want, but 5 stars really help us out. And yeah, if we might be I'm thinking about doing a Patreon. So I don't know if you guys think that's something you guys want. We're going to do like extra content. Maybe I'm thinking about talking to John about it. So we were thinking about doing that. So we might be throwing that up in a couple weeks, but for sure, at least if you can support us by rating us on iTunes
and like and subscribe YouTube, because definitely like since we're putting more content out, that'll be good to go. And you're actually starting to see our faces now too. So yeah, if you want to see more of our mugs,
if you want to see my dumb face, you see me more. And then if you want to see John's dumb face, because he was thinking about like rating, like watching the Marvel movies and rating them, or just comic book movies in general.
Yeah, like so. I was thinking of like all comic movies and like doing more of like quick reviews, because people will go into like long in-depth ones, and I'm thinking like, well, let's just do like quick, like Matt does quick.
John's quick 10 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, we're trying to give you guys a lot of content, a lot of stuff. And even though we're in storms and stuff in Texas,
while we're in Texas and not have power for almost a week.
But we're here for you guys, and we're trying to get you guys some stuff to listen to for your work days. So on that note, we'll see you guys next time
on the next one.
Bye. Well, folks, hope you enjoyed that episode.
If you did and you'd like to follow us on social media, our Facebook is Planes, Trains, and Comic Books, and our Instagram is @Planes, Trains, and Comic Books, all one word.
And be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more recommendations to add to your weekly pull list.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.